Hey everyone, my name is Mace and I work on Movie Battles 3 on UDK primarily as a level designer. Today I will be showing you how to create a customizable lightsaber hilt within UDK. This, however, already assumes that you have created your model, UV maps, diffuse, normal, specular, and glow maps for your lightsaber hilt. I will be using Photoshop and UDK throughout the course of this tutorial. However, there are plenty of other image editing programs that will allow you to do the same thing. Now that all that is out of the way, I can show you what we will be creating. As you can see, I have a lightsaber hilt right here already placed in the level. I did this by creating a standard static mesh rather than a skeletal mesh for the lightsaber. This is only for testing purposes and will not be in the final product should you decide to make it into an actual weapon. By the end of this tutorial, we will have a material, a diffuse texture, a material instance constant, a normal map, a grunge map, and a cube map. Here are some of the things you will be able to do when you are done. We will have 3 color sections in the diffuse texture, which you will be able to change. And you can change it to just about any color you need it to be. We will also have a specular color that you can also change to any color you need it to be. 2 light colors that will be in the normal map, as well as a cube and grunge texture. These cube textures and grunge textures have intensity values that allow you to change how it looks in the final product. Now I will head on over into Photoshop. In Photoshop, you can see that I've already opened my diffuse texture. My diffuse texture contains many folders so that I can organize it properly. Our diffuse texture will be used to create 3 separate color maps, as well as a specularity map that is placed in the alpha channel. Over here you can see I already have my normal map open. However, this is not how the normal map will look like in the end. In the end, our normal will look like this. The blue channel will be removed and replaced with one of the glow maps, and the alpha will use the other. Once everything is set up and ready in our diffuse texture, we can begin modifying it so that it can use 3 sections in the color map as well as the specular texture. First off, I'm going to start with the specular texture as it is the easiest. This assumes that you have already created the specular texture, and this is mine right here. In order to put the specular texture in the alpha channel, you can use select all and copy and paste into the alpha channel. To get an alpha channel, go to the Channels tab and click Add New Channel. The alpha will appear and it will appear as a blank channel. You can copy and paste straight into that, and that will be your specular texture. From there, we can go and start creating our separate sections. Let's hide the specular so that we can do that, and deselect the region. My main layer is the gray background you see as the majority of the texture. This will be put into our red channel and become our primary texture colorization section. The second section is the orangish copper you see, and we'll be putting that into the green channel. The last section is the black and silver, which will be placed into the blue channel. To start off with, I'm going to open up my diffuse silver section and duplicate all the layers and merge them. I'm going to do the same with copper and the same with the diffuse black. I have already done that with copper and diffuse black. I will then create a new folder titled Color Customization. In my case, I'm going to make it 2 as I have already created it. I'm going to place the diffuse silver, the diffuse copper, and the individual black sections into that folder. And hide the other folders that are on top of that. Once I have that, I need to desaturate each of the sections. As my black section doesn't have any texture on it, it's just purely a color, I need to duplicate and merge those layers. While doing so, I'm going to select the section, invert, and delete it from the silver texture. Once that is done, I can merge, and the resulting will have the background texture that is in the region. From there, I must select the black section. Then go to the Channels tab, go to the green channel and hit delete, as well as the red channel and hit delete. Once that is done, I can select the copper section, go to the Channels tab, click the blue channel and hit delete, as well as the red channel and hit delete, because we want the copper to be in the green section, the green channel. Once that is done, we can go back into the layers tab and select the green and the blue sections that we created earlier. After doing that, make sure you select the diffuse silver texture and invert the selection. After that, go back into the Channels tab and go to the blue section and hit delete, as well as the green section and hit delete. Then you can go back into the layers and you will see you have a blue, green, and red image. This is the final image you will need for the diffuse texture. Once you have your diffuse texture, you can save it into a place that UDK will be able to use. In my case, I will be saving it in a weapons folder that I've already created and saving it as lightsaber.tga. It is recommended that you use TGA as it is the most efficient format for UDK. Be sure you have check alpha channels on and 32 bits per pixel, because that will allow UDK to use the alpha channel. Once that is done, we can move on to the normal map. Right now we have our basic normal map, standard coloring. As you can see, my normal map has a bunch of different layers. These need to be merged together using Ctrl-E. From here, we can select all, and go back to the Channels tab and the blue channel and hit delete. That will give us the image we saw prior to this. I have also imported my glow map, which I can select all and copy paste as well. I can paste this into the alpha channel and the blue channel. Since we want two sections of glow map, we want to delete part of each section of the diffuse texture, of the glow texture in the blue channel and the alpha channel. In the blue channel, I'm going to delete the top section, and the alpha, I'm going to delete the bottom. Once that is done, you can save your normal map in the same location if you'd like. Also remember to check alpha channels and 32 bits per pixel. After you have saved everything, we can move back into UDK. In UDK, you can import your textures into an existing UPK file or create your own. I recommend when importing to make sure you set the group to textures, and on the texture to be sure to check the LED group set to weapon. And on the normal map, set it to weapon normal map. Do not check compression no alpha or change the compression settings on the normal map, as you need the alpha to stay where it is. Once everything is imported, we will create a new material. You can title this whatever you want. I'll be titling this Lightsaber Return of the Jedi Material 2. I'll be placing it in the Materials folder within the UPK. Once that opens for you, you can drag and drop both your diffuse texture and your normal map. From there, we need to create each section's color, and we need to make sure the normal map is able to be properly used. First off, we'll be doing the normal maps and the glow maps. To start off, go to right-click and go to Vector Ops and hit New Derived Normal Z. Connect the main channel of the normal map texture into NXY on the Derived Normal Z. Once that is done, connect the Derived Normal Z to the normal. In order to allow our glow maps to be colored, we need to use multiple multiplies. You can create a multiply by holding M on the keyboard and hitting left click. First off, I'm going to create 2 of them, and then I'm also going to create 2 constant 3 vectors. On these constant 3 vectors, I'm going to hit right click on them and hit convert to parameter. Also be sure that you are viewing the properties window, as we need to set the defaults. In the parameter name of one of yours, change it to light color 1 and change the group to lights. On the second one, also change the group to lights so they will be in the same location. And change the parameter name to light color 2. Place the main channel of the parameters into the B slots on your multiplies. Then connect your alpha to one of the multiplies and your blue channel to the other. After this, we need to create another multiply for both of them. As well as a single constant. We will give this constant a value of 10 and connect it both to the B channels on the other multiplies. And connect the 2 multiplies you previously created to the multiply right next to them. This will create a bloom effect on the glow maps. You can modify the 10 value to whatever you need. I just chose 10 as it fits the setting that I'm using. Going back to the light colors, you can choose whatever color you want to be the default value. For the top one, I'm going to choose red. And that can be done by just hitting 1 in the R value. On the second one, I'm going to choose green. After you've created all those, create an add and link them to your multiplies. However, we are not going to quite connect this to the emissive channel as we are not quite done yet. Select all your glow map, multiplies, and elements and group them closer together. Right click and hit new comment. Type in normals and emissive. This will allow for better organization of our material file. From here, we are going to create our specular section. First off, we need to create a constant. I am going to give it the value of 3. And I'm going to place it in the specular power. After that, I'm going to create a new multiply and a new constant 3 vector. The constant 3 vector also needs to be converted into a parameter. We are going to change the defaults of R, G, and B to all 1 so that it's white. We are going to change the group to specular and the parameter name to specular. After that is done, connect it to the B slot of your multiply and connect the alpha of your diffuse texture to the A slot. After that, connect the multiply to the specular channel. Once you have done that, create a new comment and title it specular. Now that that is out of the way, we can begin setting up the diffuse channel. To do so, we need 3 multiplies, 1 for each channel, and 3 constant 3 vectors. Connect these to any channel you want on the multiplies. Also convert the constant 3 vectors to parameters, as we have done with the previous. Connect the red in your diffuse to the top multiply, the green to the middle, and the blue to the bottom. If you check the little box on the multiplies on the top left, it'll allow a real-time preview of each of the sections in the diffuse. For now, we're just going to change the default values to 1, 1, and 1 in all of the parameters. This will allow us to have a complete gray image. As you notice when changing one, all of them change at the same time. That is because all of them have the same parameter name. The top one that's connected to the red, let's change the parameter name to primary and change the group to diffuse. The middle one, which is connected to the green channel, let's change the parameter name to secondary and the group name also to diffuse. The bottom one, which is connected to the blue channel, I'm going to name it tertiary. And change the group name to diffuse. After that, we need to add 2 adds in order to add the sections together. Connect the top 2 to one of the adds, and the bottom one to the second add, and the first add to the second add. Once that is done, create another comment, title it diffuse, and make sure it encompasses all of what you just created, just to help a little bit of more organization. Once you have created those 2 adds, create another add and link the one from the diffuse and the one from the emissive to that add. Also link the add in the emissive channel to the emissive in the material. From there, we will begin to set up the cube map. Right click and go into Vector Ops and hit New Reflection Vector, as well as Vector Ops New Transform. Connect the reflection vector to your transform. Now, assuming you already have a cube map, drag and drop the cube map into the material. Convert this to a parameter and change the group to cube. link the UV to the vector transform. Once you have done that, create two new power nodes, and connect the base of the cube map texture to the base of the power. On the second power, connect the specular texture from the diffuse alpha channel into the base. While doing that, create 3 new constants and 3 new multiplies. And be sure to link them together. After linking them all together, change the power that is connected to, change the constant that is connected to the power that is connected to the cube map default value to 1.5. Change the constant that is connected to the multiply to 10, and the power that is connected to the specular to 3. Once you have done that, create another constant, convert it to a parameter. Call it reflection, and change the group to cube. Connect that constant to one of the multiplies that has not been connected yet, and connect another multiply that is connected to the multiply and the specular power to that multiply. Once you have done that, create a new comment and title it cube so that we know what's going on in this section. Next to the multiply, you can go into utility and create a quality switch. This will allow users with lower end computers to use high and low quality materials. This is not a requirement, this is something I am doing for my personal sake. You do not need to do this. After you have done that, you can right click and go to parameters and create a new static switch parameter. With that, create a new constant, keep its default value 0 and plug it into false, as well as low on the quality switch. After that is done, and you have already made a grunge texture, drag and drop the grunge into your material. Create a new constant and convert it to a parameter and set the default value to 1. Change the group to diffuse and the parameter name to grunge intensity. Keep the default value at 1. Do not change it. Once again, create a new multiply, link the grunge texture to any of the channels, and the intensity to the other one. Connect the output of the multiply to true. Once that is done, create a new subtract. Connect the quality switch to A and the switch parameter to B. Once that is done, create a new comment, title it grunge. Now that I have done that, I'm going to create two new ads. To the first ad, I'm going to connect the diffuse and the subtract. To the second one, I'm going to connect the quality switch and the ad I just connected, and connect that ad to the diffuse. Also, change the group in the switch parameter to grunge. Give it a default value of on. And parameter name of grunge. If you don't have the preview window selected, you can turn it on now and you can see what it looks like. After looking in the preview, you might notice that the cube map reflections do not appear at all. This is because the reflection intensity in the cube section has not had its default value set. You can set that to 1 and it should be good to go. From there, you can also organize your materials a little better so that they're a little more clear, as I have done here. I also renamed some of the sections, such as the diffuse section, and renamed it to diffuse color change. As well as grunge, I changed to grunge on off because it is able to be turned on and off. And per cube map reflections up here was cube maps before, just so there's a little more specific as to what is actually happening. The reflections won't automatically change when a map changes. You'll have to do that yourself in either Kismet or in Unreal Script. Also down here, I made a little mistake earlier, and you need to change the group in the switch parameter for grunge to diffuse. Also down here, change specular to specular color to be a little more clear as to what it's doing. And I also added diffuse, normal, and grunge descriptions to the actual textures, just so they know what is each little thing. Mainly in purpose of organization, and especially useful if you're working in teams, just so everyone is clear as to what is actually happening. If you don't plan on showing this to anyone ever, it's not a big deal that you don't organize, but I recommend that you do it anyway. Another thing you might have noticed when I created these textures is that I used multiple channels. I did this to save memory and keep performance in mind. The more memory you use, the more calculations and the less memory is free for the rest of the game in your textures. So the more you can combine into a single texture file, the better. It also reduces the amount of texture calls in the material, and in general just makes it more efficient. That is why we removed the blue channel from the normal, as we're able to derive it from this derived normal Z here, and used it to create the 2 lights that we needed, as well as using the alpha channel and the multiple color channels to do each section. Another way people likely would have done this is to use a mask texture and used lerp to single out each section and then do it. That is another way you can do it, however you're still using another mask texture that you don't really need. You can do the same thing here with grunge by putting different grunge maps in each channel because it's a simple grayscale texture. However, I haven't made multiple grunge textures or even made one that actually fits the model perfectly, so I have not done that here. But if you want to do that for yours, please do so because that'll be much more efficient. After you have completely completed your material, it should look something like this. You should have specific sections as to each, what is happening in each. And excuse the little save down here for a moment. Once that is done, you can close out a material window and be sure to save it. And it's going to compile all the shaders for you. Once it has been completely saved, go and right click on your material, go to Create New Material Instance Constant. Make sure it is also in the Materials group. Once that has been created, you'll notice that these checkboxes are all off. Be sure to toggle them all on. This will allow you to completely override by the material instance. In order to preview it on your actual mesh, be sure to drag the material instance constant onto your mesh or apply it in the mesh editor. You'll notice that I have a scene here. As said earlier, that's because I just created a general grunge map and I haven't created an actual one specific to this mesh, so it does not tile properly. Since it does not tile properly, I'm just going to show you how you can change the grunge intensity and then toggle it off. From there, we can also change the reflection intensity. It's not that noticeable unless you get down to the low values and the high values. You can even go up to make it even brighter. And then you can change things like the primary texture. I'll go and change it to a little bit of a blue. You can change the copper down. I'll decide to make it more of a white for some reason, just cause. And then you can change the black down here. Just about any color you want. I'll change it to dark blue. You can also change either of the light colors. I'll go yellow and red, just so they flop. Actually, no, I'll go yellow and purple. And then you can also change the specular, and we'll go yellow with that. As you can see, it works perfectly. In a final note, this same system can be used for more than just weapons. It can also be used in the creation of characters or even map-related assets. As an example, I'll take you a little bit of ways across the map over here. You can see here are some boxes I created the other day. These are all using the same mesh and the same texture. They're just using multiple material instance constants. It's better to use multiple material instance constants over multiple materials with modified constants because it uses less memory and there's not as many texture calls. So it's much easier to use multiple material instance constants, and they allow you to change things more readily on the fly. However, it is all entirely up to you. You don't have to change it on the fly. You can just change it whenever you want and just leave it constant throughout the entire map, as I have done with these boxes here. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Be sure to also check out Movie Battles 3 on UDK. You can find Movie Battles 3 either on this channel or via www.moviebattles.com.